Okay, welcome to another session of Music Matters with Ev. And I am so pleased to have, well, let's say that Australia gave us Kiri Tikanua and Wales gave us Catherine Jenkins. But we in the UK have Danniella Zamparelli. Thank you very much
Oh,
for joining us.
hi, thank you so much. That's such a lovely entrance introduction. I don't think I'm worthy of that, but thank you.
Oh, and more. Okay, so Danniella, let's start by telling us who you are.
Okay, so hi, my name's Danniella Zamparelli, as you can see. I'm 29. I'm half English, half Italian. I'm a classical singer and I'm a vocal coach.
Well done. Okay,
Mm.
so up until 2020, what have you been active with in terms of your music and your singing?
So to start with, I started learning classically when I was 12. Um, and from then I learnt quite sort of intense training from the age of 12, and I went on to sing. As I got older, I went on to sing at lots of events over Europe and in England. Anything from, I sang at a gala in Monaco, I sang at an event with Aston Martin, so
Mm.
that was sort of my main focus, and it was mostly classical.
Mhm.
um, and yeah, then obviously 2020 hit and everything sort of changed for everyone. Yeah, so
So
that's sort of,
that's the next segue. Well done. What has happened? How has it affected what you do and any opportunities for performance or things like that? How's it affected your musical output?
well, I think for myself, obviously it's been difficult for everybody, especially in the music industry. Um, there's just no events on. Obviously, everything got closed, weddings got stopped. So I just realized quite early on that you have to adapt, we have to change. And luckily, from the years and years of intensive training that I've had, I was just really easy. I was found the segue easy to go into coaching, and that's where it was sort of, that's where the online idea of coaching came from and was born. Um, and it kind of took off, I'd say, fairly quickly. And yeah, now I've got clients as far as South Korea, which is really exciting. Yeah.
Wow.
I know, I love it. It's fantastic.
Okay, look, before we talk a little bit more about your online coaching, can we just step back a bit and talk about
Yeah.
your training, a little bit more about your training, because there's a lot of misconceptions around classical singing or classical
Mm,
music in general. And
yeah.
as someone who has traversed both types of genres, tell us a little bit about the classical training. And I believe that you did a considerable amount of traveling with regard to your own training.
Yes, that's correct. So I trained in, so I grew up in the south of France, and that's where I met my teacher, who is a retired opera singer. She's incredible. She's really a unique woman. And her style of training is just really, uh, it's just really unique. It's really classic. So uh, it's mostly in Italian, although we speak in English. Sometimes she speaks to me in Italian, but it's mostly in English. And the idea is that the Italian sounds, when you speak in Italian, it's very articulate, you're very open. So that was where her training comes from. So I went back and forth to France every month pretty much to have intensive training for 2 weeks. Um, and that really, those 2 weeks were just amazing. So I just spent pretty much all day singing with her, and then I would just sleep and eat in between. Um, but yeah, the training is just really strict. It's really precise, which is sometimes really difficult because you're aiming for perfection, but perfection doesn't exist. But in that world, it does, and you sort of like battling with it sometimes. You think it's not, you know, it has to be perfect, and then you get there and you think it's perfect, but it's not quite perfect, which is what makes your ear so sharp, so different, and
Mm.
which is why then the technique that you have, you can just put to anything, because
Mm.
you've learnt every sort of sound, and it's so, some of the sounds are so tiny that you
Mm.
train your ear to hear. Did that
Thank
answer
you
your
very much.
question? I don't even know if that did.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for that, because I wanted to give the audience an indication of your dedication, travel and forth, and as you say, to practice or be under tuition for a whole day, and then you
Yeah.
just haven't got any time else but to eat and sleep and then do it again. That shows a level of dedication, and it definitely shows in your singing and in
Thank
the
you.
general area of classical performance. Okay, so coming back to the 2020 scenario, you started online coaching. What about did you do any performance at all as your performance schedule stopped?
Yeah, pretty much. I had something booked in locally, but obviously it couldn't go ahead. So at that time, obviously it was so uncertain. We all just thought it was going to be over in a month or a week or something. So we all thought it was going to be quite quick. So yeah, I just quickly had to sort of think, where could I take this? Where can I keep training and in my mind? Because I think that's the main thing as well. It's not just, singing. Anyone can just sing around the house, but there's a real special connection you get when you perform, and it's the
Mm,
same as it's the same as how I feel when I coach.
mm,
You get this sort of, I don't know, adrenaline buzz. I don't know what it is, but I get that. And so it was just being able to channel that energy into something else that
mm,
I could use and
mm.
grow.
Okay, so in terms of the future, how do you view the near future? What do you think of it?
Um, Gosh. Well, with regards to the virus, near future, hopefully over. But with regards to music and my career, I think it's a difficult one to answer. I think the most important thing is to just keep doing what we're all doing, just going day by day. And if you can book things in for summertime, I would book them in. I booked in to go and see a show in London in the summer. So keep doing it, keep booking shows and stuff like that. But or at least performing in shows or gigs or whatever anyone does. And yeah, I hope to be able to perform again and get creative, because obviously I do different things. I have a real classical head, a real
Mhm,
classical mind, where I sing
mhm,
arias, I sing operas, but then I also transition into more crossover. So I'm obviously very interested in exploring the limits of classical music. So
mm.
I'd love to be able to do that and carry on sharing it and working with the likes of yourself and stuff like that. Yeah,
Oh,
it's good.
well, I hope that you do, because
Thank you.
we understand that irrespective of the circumstances and the constraints, we have to continue some way, somehow. And the online platform is the get out method at the moment.
Yeah.
In terms of your advice for anyone wishing to enter into the profession or become active in music, singing, etc., what would you advise them?
Gosh, okay, so I would probably advise them to just keep doing what they're doing, keep practicing, keep really working on your craft. If at the moment it's so uncertain and you can't perform or you can't see an out of being able to perform, find find someone who can help you fine tune it so you become the best at what you're doing, or at least try and become the best at what you're doing. Um, Add more strings to your bow, look at different aspects of it. Um, don't just focus if you're want to be a guitarist. I personally wouldn't focus just on the guitar and playing the guitar. I would look at all aspects of the industry within that. It just broadens your mind a bit, and then that's when opportunities, I find that's when opportunities come, because you aren't just down one lane, you're sort of open up to different opportunities, and that's when they arise. Yeah, that'll be my
Excellent. Great
advice.
advice. Great
Thanks.
advice. Okay, so we need to know, where can people hear you, see what you've done, get introduced to your coaching if they want to become a student of yours? How do we find out about you and where we can contact and see what you're doing and become involved?
So you can follow me on my website. On my website, it just allows you to learn a little bit more about me, my background, what I have to offer. And on there is anything from coaching to events to booking me for things. And that's danniellacantor.com.
Right. So that's Danniella as you spelt it, with the 2 N's and the 2 L's.
2 N's, 2 L's, and cantor. Obviously, canto is sing in Italian, so it made sense to create that
Right.
alias.
I'm just putting it in now. DanniellaCantor.com. Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
And then my YouTube is under Danniella Zamparelli. It's just got all the songs or covers or creations that I've got are all on there. I tend to put up stuff even when I'm just sort of playing around with ideas. It's quite nice to have it out there and for people to listen to. I'm on all the platforms. Instagram, Danniella Cantor. You can follow me for coaching tips, coaching videos, just general day-to-day life. And oh gosh, I feel like there's one more. What else? No, I think that's it. Yeah, I think I've covered. Oh, obviously Facebook is Danniella Cantor as well.
Okay, so that's I'm just putting these in because just in case, you know, when you have interviews or talks, it's not easy to be writing things down as people discuss. So Instagram. Okay, all right, and the final point is 2020 is gone, and I've been asking people whilst I've done the interviews during 2020, if 2020 were a person, what would you say to him or her?
Oh gosh, what a question. What did I say? I'd probably just say we're not friends. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk to you. I mean, what would you say?
Do you know what? You're the first person who's reversed it back onto me. And I was saving up my reply for an interview that I was going to do, and then I would answer it. But I'm gonna bow to your question, and I'm going to answer you. And if 2020 were a person, I would have said, "Thank you very much for all you have taught me, but I need you to go."
That's a good one. That's perfect. That is perfect. Actually, that's a really good one because I think it's taught everybody to slow down. I remember when it first happened, and everyone in my life is just so fast paced, so fast paced. Like no one looks around and looks up and smells the road, like nobody. And I felt like it just taught everybody to just slow down and to really think and be present. And obviously there's been some horrible losses and tragedies from it, and you know that goes without saying, but I think everybody's who I say everybody, obviously it's a lot of people have lost jobs and such, and I'm not sort of hitting on that topic, but within themselves they seem happier. People are sort of have had time to think, oh actually I don't think I'm in the career path that I wanted to be in, and I'm going to take the time to do what I want to do and what makes me happier. And I just think that's so healthy and so much better for our mental health as well. Yeah, I've really noticed that.
That's great. Okay, so thank you very much for agreeing to do this interview. I must ask you if you will allow us to invite you back again, because we want to keep people aware of us as creatives, what we're doing, how people can get involved and support, etc. So I'd like to do a follow-up and follow-ups, because I'm telling the audience they need to hear you sing, because I heard you sing, and that's the reason why I'm talking to you now. So it's important. Please, will you come back?
Oh my gosh, you know me. Anywhere you need me, I'll be there. No, definitely. And yeah, I was just thinking this morning, I was singing a classical song, haven't sung in ages. And I think because I've been so busy, I'm moving house and such, it's really easy to sort of lose your little thing that makes you feel, I don't know, alive. And this morning after I was coaching somebody, and then afterwards I started singing, and I was singing classically, and I thought, oh, I really want to I really want to record this, so you've inspired me to record it. I'm going to do that straight away today.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. You go ahead and do that recording. And
Yeah,
thanks again for being a part of this. And for everyone, just to say, take care until the next time we meet. Thank you.
definitely. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.